Last 2 years, our population's grown really fast, like baby boom fast. And increasingly, bad actors like fake colleges and big chain corporations have been exploiting our immigration system for their own interests. So we're doing something major. We're reducing the numbers of immigrants that will come to Canada for the next 3 years.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Five Pints Podcast. I'm your host, Jamie A.B. So today we're going to be talking about immigration. And we're going to be talking about all the problems that nobody's talking about when it comes to immigration. Because I just want to give a disclaimer before we get into today's list. And I just want to say that I am not anti-immigration. I've grown up in a Canada where multiculturalism was the norm. Okay? I grew up with Asian people, Black people, white people, every type of person. Okay? I grew up with them. And that was even in a very conservative Southern Ontario town, okay? Did racism exist? Yeah, okay, racism did exist. Did we put up with it? Not really. Not really at all. And that was the beautiful thing, is that I do think that people were racist, but every time someone would be racist, it's not like they weren't denounced and called an idiot and told, hey, cut that out. What's wrong with you? Why would you think like that? And we didn't really think about race until they really started focusing on it. So anyways, so all that's to say is that I'm not against immigration. Okay. I have always said, my husband has as well, that if we ever needed to leave Canada, God forbid, we believe in being accepted and assimilating into another, country that is not the one we were born in. Okay, we have children, so we've known that if stuff gets rough, we're going to be leaving. Okay, that's just what happens. We left Southern Ontario. Now we live in Northern Ontario. Okay, let's get into this list that nobody talks about when it comes to immigration, because we were called racist before. Lots of names if we disagreed with mass unlimited immigration. But this is what we've noticed, all right? Number one, the United Nations investigation concluded that our immigration system in Canada was akin to modern-day slavery. I personally have immigrants at my gas station near me, and I have told them, hey, you have rights, right? Like, my husband and I both, he would be like, you've been in here at the beginning of my shift and you're here at the end. Like, how long are you working for? Because I'm pretty sure you should only be working about this amount. So I have seen it with my own eyes, and that's when I started to be like, wait a minute, that's not right. And then more and more stories about places, restaurants allegedly having immigrants in trailers. So they basically live at these restaurants, which is insane. And in Canada, if you hire an immigrant over a Canadian, you get a $10,000 check. Now, all of these haters of CEOs, have you guys ever thought about that? What is a CEO who only gives a shit about money going to hire? Just think about that. Okay, next. Immigration has flooded our infrastructures. I, too, used to be somebody who was like, yeah, let everybody in. Let's do it. No. I was wrong. I admit it, because I realized we didn't build any hospitals. We didn't build any schools, and we barely built any houses for these people. Invited them over here, told them, hey, Canada's great. Because if you've talked to people who are immigrants or watched their video, they are told that Canada is this amazing place, yada, yada, yada. And it's just astounding to me, because we cannot pour from an empty fucking cup. We should know that. If there's anything that I learned about being on the left, it's literally that you need to take care of yourself. None of this Charlie Kirk bullshit. You do need to take care of yourself. You will run yourself into the ground if you don't take care of yourself. So take time for you, okay? I'm not saying be selfish, be an asshole, but I am saying that definitely people need to work on that, all right? And we were, might I add, filling from a cup that was already filled with grief and change when our immigration skyrocketed. We were just coming out of a panini press, okay? One way I personally noticed this was 1 year at Wonderland, the population just skyrocketed. And I knew it wasn't because of just COVID. I knew that it was because we were shoving so many people into Southern Ontario. And not only that, Canada's Wonderland is like the premier theme park. Like, even I live 5 hours north of Canada's Wonderland, and our schools go there for field trips. So you're seeing tons and tons of people at Wonderland because it is our only theme park in Southern Ontario. Whereas in the States, they have like a theme park. They're like, Ohio has like 3 theme parks, giant ones. Anyways, that was the first time I noticed that our infrastructures were being flooded. And then I realized, oh, this is happening to schools and hospitals. Okay. Listen, I didn't want to believe it, but language barriers can actually be dangerous. One way that I have seen this is, first of all, being able to read road signs. Number 2, I was in North Bay in the summer on the last weekend, and the beach was contaminated, and they kept telling people, and I'm thinking to myself, why the fuck are those people in there? And then I heard them talk and realized that they could not understand what the lifeguard was saying, and they were just swimming in contaminated water. I was literally like, oh, okay. Just another reason why language barriers can be dangerous if we are not stopping to teach these people, assimilation, language, law, all of the things that you would want to know when you come to a different country so that you're not breaking the law, right? Okay, next one, car accidents. And we now have proof that there's DVs out there, DV, like for the vehicles, drive test places that were accepting bribes for licenses. It is so unbelievably frustrating, because why would you do that? Why would you do that to the Canadian public? If someone doesn't know how to drive, the worst thing you could do is hand them a license for some money. What is wrong with you guys? Honestly, I'm just like appalled, shocked, and disgusted that they even did that, because I have seen a multitude of accidents where we live, because Highway 11 is very dangerous in between North Bay and Cochrane, and just the amount of accidents, and it's just frustrating, because those are innocent lives lost, Canadians and their lives unnecessarily lost because you accepted a bribe. Imagine that. Imagine looking at it from any other point of view, but people are losing their lives, both Canadians and immigrants, and it's because we're making the most amount of shortcuts. Okay? Not ethical, not okay, not even a smart thing to do. So the next one is the assimilation one. So we used to have an immigration policy that was well-rounded and well-respected across the world, actually. Donald Trump in 2016 said that our merit-based immigration policy was one of the best he's ever seen, blah, blah, blah. And, all of a sudden we cut that off. We bring people over here, have basically an unlimited border for like 2 years. And even before that, more and more people were coming here. And, it can lead to things like the thing that we seen in Grand Bend this year. We also seen an attack on a lesbian couple in Nova Scotia by people who were immigrants, okay? And they were calling them slurs, because I think people forget, oh my gosh, my dryer. I think people forget that some of these countries that they are coming from, they really don't like the LGBT community, and they're not being taught that that is normal here, okay? Why has nobody thought about that before? And I'm not saying that every immigrant is homophobic, blah, blah, blah. But what I am saying is that we aren't teaching people the way Canada is and lives, genuinely. We see incidences where Indians people from India are in our streets late at night, blasting music, and while it looks like a lot of fucking fun, no, we have to rent a hall here, okay? We don't just have parties in the streets here, especially on a Sunday night, in the middle of a neighborhood, blaring music. And then what does that cause? That causes things like a divide. You know, and in the summer with the Grand Bend thing, all they had to say with like the defecating in the beaches, all they had to say was, you know what, we'll look into it. We'll make sure that we've got somebody who can speak the language, you know, and explain to them, hey, this is not okay. You know, this is why we have these bathrooms on the beach. And, you know, we'll look into it, make sure that's not happening. Not turn around and call everybody racist and say that they're lying. You guys were telling an Indigenous woman that she was lying. And I believe her because I've had instances where I've seen it with my own eyes. Situations, okay? So I just need everybody to understand that the answer to that was not calling people racist. It was just saying, you know what? We're going to look after that. Because the thing is that these things don't leave people with dignity, okay? Not teaching people the way that we live is creating such a divide. And, you know, if you are somebody who doesn't know that we don't defecate on beaches here and you're doing that, don't you think that people are going to be embarrassed? You know what I mean? And then, like I said, it creates a divide because we don't do that, okay? And then we have honor unalivings. I'm not allowed to say the actual word, but in 2016, I was a student for CYW and I worked at a DV shelter, and we learned about it because people weren't teaching these people that when they come here, they cannot, you know, carry out honor killings like they can in their home countries, and it's not honorable here. Like, you will go to jail. There's whatever. And it has been a problem for a little bit, and nobody wants to talk about that. Everybody wants to dance around it. And I'm not saying that every person who immigrates here is going to do that whatsoever. What I'm saying is that we're not teaching them that that's not okay. Okay. And we're just banking on someone else telling them that that's not okay. And that's not good, guys. Because if I put myself in the shoes of an immigrant and I'm an immigrant in a new country, I would want people to tell me if I'm doing something illegal, or I want to fit in, right? I'm moving to this country so I can fit into the country, okay? And the last one is that I was stolen from by an immigrant. I was also stolen from by a white person, okay? So it's not, but what gets me about the person stealing from me that wasn't from here is that as soon as I told them, like, it was being investigated, and as soon as I gave the name, it was like, just cut off. Not, oh, okay, well, done pursuing that. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, okay, this person just scammed me, ripped me off a good $4,000. And what's stopping them from doing this again to another Canadian? What's the problem here? And I just, I'm not somebody who, you know, thinks, I'm not racist at all. I've had immigrants deliver my babies, okay? So I'm not racist. I'm just like, okay, so he's just gonna go and do this to more people, and a Canadian is a Canadian is a Canadian, and I'm just supposed to accept that? When if I ever went to another country and stole, I would be expected to be sent back to my country if I'm going to another country and literally breaking the law. Also, there's so many more rich people to steal from in Canada. Why me? Oh my God. So by any means, I'm not racist. I'm literally just like, well, why did you stop until I told you the person's name? And then why, you know what I mean? Like, why, when you pursue it, if this person is new here and should not be doing this to Canadians? I'm out $4,000 and I had to pay it back. They sent it to collections because they said I was in on it. I was like, give me the tapes now. But anyways, I look at this from, quite frankly, a humanity perspective. I look at it from, okay, if I was at another country, how would I want, other people to perceive me? How would I, what would I be looking for if I went to another country? Oh, probably someone to tell me the rules or show me where I can look it up. And I wouldn't like it if a country told me, hey, you're going to have a great life here if you come here. And then literally they're homeless. Some of them are homeless and living on the cold ass streets of Canada. Okay. I also look at it from the perspective, like, I don't buy into the fact that you all think that my grandparents were colonizers and white supremacists because they were promised a better life while they were being starved in their countries. It's not their fault that they came over here and the government was rounding up indigenous people and putting them into reservations, okay? My grandparents didn't know about that, had no idea. So I wish both sides understood that, because I am seeing more racism in Canada, and it is very disappointing because I've always said that I've been speaking out because we've gone so far left that I don't want to go hard right. And I've always been truly thankful that we live in a Canada where, the new conservative leader has literally a wife who is an immigrant. Okay. We live in a Canada where during Harper, One Girl, Five Gays was like the most popular show on MTV in Canada. So I don't buy into Trudeau's BS when he says that we were some, conservative, weird, fucking milking cows days is what he acts like, because we were sincerely progressive, even during Harper. So I'm not worried at all. I'm glad we come from a country where, I do think that Pierre can sound like Trump sometimes, and I think that's a good thing. But I also think that we're very pro-family here. I'm lucky because, like I've said in my other videos, I was a single mom during Harper. I still got a check every month. I didn't have to pay to give birth. And, all of our social systems were working. And we're not fooled anymore. We're not fooled by the propaganda. We're not fooled by the fear mongering. And many of us know that it's time. It's time for Canada to lose this prime minister who is like a narcissistic rich friend, and get a dad in who's going to fix the country up and lay down the law. Okay. So thanks for listening today. Please subscribe. Please like, and I'll be back tomorrow with another video. I need to do my school one soon, but I'm just gathering info. Okay. Have a good day, guys.